For all the latest reviews, interviews, and everything entertainment in Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, and Telugu, subscribe to Film Companion South now.
Hello, Vineeth Sreenivasan. Welcome to Film Companion South.
Thank you, sir.
So lovely to have you here finally.
My pleasure.
And see, of all the directors, when you say, you tend to compare them to a slightly senior director and say, this person is in this zone, this person is this in this zone, this person is in this zone. Would you say you are in the Gautam Menon zone?
Yeah, I would say that. Yeah.
Okay.
No, the thing is, when I was doing Tira after Tatatan Maraitha, I deliberately wanted to shift to another zone.
Right.
But then it didn't work at the box office, and we wanted to make part 2 and part 3 of Tira. It was planned as a trilogy.
Tira was planned as a trilogy?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So then that time the audience response was not the kind of response that we expected. It worked really well in the festivals and everywhere. So it was, when Tira got released, it was like all the reviews were great and the collections were not matching with the reviews. That was the first time I had that kind of an experience. So after Tira, we did Vadakan Selfie. I wrote the film, and then Jacob and the Swargarajam was about my close friend. So, and once my kids were born, I wanted to do happy films, because when you work on a film like Tira, you invest into a lot of dark stuff. I mean, while we were doing Tira, I was reading about Sonali ma'am, Anuradha Koirala, Sunitha Krishnan, all these people, and you hear these stories that you can't, it takes you to a point where you get scared about a lot of things in life.
Right.
So I thought,
in fact, I think once you said when your wife didn't return home by a particular time, you started getting scared or something like that.
Yeah. So I thought, குழந்தைங்கெல்லாம் வளரட்டும், அது வரைக்கும் கொஞ்சம் ஹாப்பியாக இருக்கலாம். I'll think about happy films, so I'll have happy thoughts.
Dude, but we are not in a very happy time right now. we are in like the third.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're anticipating the
This
third.
was not my plan, no, sir.
This is not your plan, but I'm saying, the world is, become a different kind of place. But maybe you could say that even now people need cheering up. So
when Janeman got released, it got such huge response in Kerala. It was such a small film, and it did really well because people wanted to laugh. People wanted to go and have that feeling of having a good time. Yeah, and that atmosphere in the theater, when you hear a lot of people laughing around you, so you become, that laughter becomes infectious, no?
Right. So, I haven't seen Janeman, but the movie that did that to me recently was Tinkalashan Ishyan. That was a beautiful film.
I still haven't seen the film. My father told me that it's like a textbook.
Yeah, it's so beautifully done, and the laughs, everything is so organic, and at the end but it's actually a very funny film also.
Okay.
But it gave me that feeling, that you want that zone. That zone was my zone for a while. So when you say you're in a Gautam Menon kind of zone, now Gautam makes action thrillers. He makes romantic films as well. But would you call it a happy zone though? Because it's like take Vineeth Sreenivasan.
Yeah.
It's a love story. You go to the movie, but do you come out happy though? I don't know if you come out as a happy person, So when you say you want to make feel good, is Gautam really the
No, the thing is, if you look at Mani sir or Gautam sir, all of them, the elements that they fascinate us with in their films, right? The trains and the chemistry between the actors, all those elements.
Okay, those things are.
Yeah, that is what has inspired me. And screenplay wise, my inspirations are not in his zone. Mostly the aesthetics, the aspirational quality of it.
Yeah. So screenplay wise, who's your inspiration?
Aaron Sorkin.
So you're not going to say Sreenivasan at all?
No. My father. Yes, definitely. When I was writing my first film, I gave my script to him, the first draft to him, and he told me that there is nothing in this. So that's when I started learning about screenplay. I had some 6 to 7 sessions with him. I would write every draft and I would go to him, and he'll have a lot of corrections to do. During Vadakan Selfie also, this happened a lot.
Can you give me an example of a scene that you wrote that was a nothing scene according to him, and how you corrected it?
It's been a long time, but Vadakan Selfie, the second half of the film, it didn't sit well with him.
Okay.
That whole story didn't sit well with him. So he told me this is going into a zone where the story is not believable. You have to make it believable. So there should be a lot of humor, and when there is a lot of humor, people won't question the logic.
Okay.
I mean, people won't.
That's a good lesson.
Yeah. So like that, he told me a lot of things. When Tannir Mathan Dinangal, I went for the film with him. He didn't like the film, which I expected. So, but I wanted him to see the film. So after watching the film, he told me, I didn't like the film, but I can understand why people like the film. It's a film that would work for the audience, but not for me. So there are things that he
So
has.
what didn't work for him? What is his...
He appreciates cinema that has a little more depth and
Yeah.
interpersonal relationships and character-wise. There is a lot of work behind it. So Tannir Mathan was humor.
Yeah.
So,
And for me, when I saw Tannir Mathan also, it's not that it was a bad movie, but I had heard so much about it that when I saw it, I was a little bit disappointed because I
so
felt
did you watch it in theatre?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, it's nice and it's funny, but it's not some... It's a little formulaic also. So I was like I think what you just said is very interesting because you said he likes films with depth and stuff like that. When you are making movies as part of the new generation Malayalam cinema, there's this whole bunch of people that have got associated with that name, right? And when you take it to him for a like is it Achaz, this is working well, are you aware of the fact that he's from a different generation and what he liked or what his audiences liked may not be whether you like it or not, you'll know, but the audiences may not want what he wants. Is that playing in your mind when you show your things to your father, when you show your screenplay to your father?
No, actually, he watches a lot of films.
Right.
He watches a lot of films that in recent times films also. So he's updated with the kind of films that are coming. So the thing is, he has a certain kind of taste. When I wrote Hridayam, I didn't want to give the screenplay to him because it's laced with a lot of music. I mean, I write
15 songs I heard.
Yeah. So I write songs like I write my scenes. There is a Pallavi and what happens in the Pallavi. There is an intro BG.
Oh, you actually write the Pallavi?
Yeah, okay. I write everything. Okay. Generally, when you give the screenplay to somebody, they'll just read through the scenes and they'll skip the song part of it and everything, right? So, but for me, a lot of moments happen in between the songs, during the songs. Hridayam is written that way. So I thought if he is not listening to the track and if he is not reading it, he'll not get the essence of what I have in my head. So I wanted to narrate it to him. I wanted to play the song and narrate it to him. But then narrating it to him is like something that I'm very scared to do.
Right. So he doesn't know what it's about.
No. I told him the story idea, and that's all he knows.
Okay.
I hope he likes the film.
Yeah, I really look forward to it. The trailer, the teaser looked really kind of nice, and I think what was intriguing is that you had Pranav Mohanlal. What is it about this man that he did Adi and then he's not yet proven as anything, right? He's a fresh kind of person in the sense that the audience hasn't yet put an image on him or whatever it is. What is it that made you say, I want Pranav in this movie?
So when I saw Adi, there were these sequences in that film where he was very comfortable. He was very comfortable having a conversation, being that character. And when an actor is comfortable, இப்போ புதுசாக நடிக்க வர ஆக்டர்ஸ் வந்து அவங்களுக்கு எல்லாருக்கும் there will be a lot of hiccups, but there will be sequences where they are really comfortable and you can see that okay, this man can do a lot more than this. அந்த ஒரு thought இருக்கும். எனக்கு அந்த thought இருந்துச்சு ஆதி பார்க்குறப்போ.
Like even though it's an action film, he was kind of doing the...
Yeah, so I liked his smile. I like his eyes. So he has his father's features. So I thought if we bring him to a zone where he is very comfortable and that would suit his personality. இப்போ மலையாளிஸே வந்து those who are brought up outside Kerala, no, they have a different kind of body language. And that body language, when it mixes with the native Malayalam thing, something new comes out of it.
Was Pranav brought up outside Kerala?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He studied in Ooty.
Ooty, okay.
Dulquer madri tha.
Right.
When Dulquer acts in Malayalam cinema, he looks completely different from the rest of the crop because his body language is different, his upbringing is different.
Right.
So everything changes. That is what I thought Pranav could deliver.
Okay.
And I think I was right. That's audience solno.
Yeah, I think they don't know anything about him because he doesn't give interviews. I don't know so what's the thing with that. So I think maybe that also preserves the mystery a bit, of like this person till at least he delivers 4 or 5 like films that are like showcase a range or something like that. Actually, this movie is filled with second generation stars, so to speak. First there's you, then there's Pranav. Kalyani is there.
Yes.
When speaking of the heroines, when you again, what were the qualities in Kalyani and Darshana that kind of made you say, okay, these 2 are the ones I want in my movie?
Darshana actually, I went to Darshana in 2019. Darshana heard the script the first time. நான் முதல்ல வந்து narrate பண்ணது தர்ஷனாக்கு தான்.
Right.
So இரும்பு திரை, there was this film, Vishal's film. So I saw Darshana in that film. And
Darshana was in that film?
Yeah, as Vishal's sister.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, that time she didn't do Mayanadi or any of the Malayalam films that she has done. So she was in that film and I really liked her in one scene. Then I came and googled who's this actor, and it was Darshana Rajendran. And my character was already named Darshana.
Wow.
Yeah, so that brought a lot of curiosity into this person. So after that, Kude got released, Anjali Menon's film. So I saw that film, and when the song came out, I was pausing and watching Darshana. So I thought it was in, and she looks a little bit like Kartika, who used to act in the 80s.
Yeah.
I was a big fan of Kartika Chechi.
I thought you were a big fan of Veera Jasmine. And Dhyan is a big fan of Navya Nair. That video.
Why did you have to bring that?
No, it's like it is a mandatory question. It's like you've already kind of revealed it as children to the whole world. So, anyway, you're a fan of Kartika. So
Yeah, so somewhere that similarity of features, I think, so that stuck. I felt this could work. Then after that, Mayanadi got released, and I saw Mayanadi, and then I went and narrated the script to Darshana. Darshana can emote. She can actually take us into that emotion very fast.
yeah.
No, I don't think many actors can do that. I mean, you have to create the situation and then drive the audience into that situation, and then when the actor performs, it's convincing. But Darshana, split second, she can take you into that zone. So I wanted an actor like that.
Right. Actually, when I interviewed her recently for a roundtable, she said something that, the only parts that is getting us is this woman in trouble, this woman who has been kidnapped, something has happened to her. It was like they were thinking of writing all these bad things that could happen to women and then saying, oh, let's cast Darshana Rajendran and them. So I was so happy to get Hridayam because...
Yeah, she told me, Hridayam is the only film where she doesn't require a medical aid.
What about Kalyani?
Kalyani, I wanted somebody who can instantly, brighten up the screen, bring a certain kind of aura.
Right.
So I think she has got that. And when I went to Kalyani, she had not done a Malayalam film.
Right.
So I saw a little bit of her work in Telugu and Tamil. I know that she's more comfortable when she's doing Malayalam because that's her father's zone. And she has a little bit of humor that she has got from Priyan uncle. So this character needs that tint of humor in places. So I thought it would work.
So for you, when you're casting, the first thing that you look for is whether that person resembles the person in your head.
Yeah.
That's your first thing.
Yeah.
The emoting and all comes later.
Mostly I look for actors more than doing random auditions and picking up people. Except for the lead actors, all the actors that we cast in Hridayam, they're either working in short films or they're working with theatres. So they have that acting experience, they come with that experience.
Right.
Then it's very easy to.
But the thing is, Pranav looked like the character you had written in Hridayam.
Yeah.
Somehow that match happened.
Yeah.
I
I wanted that kind of sophistication and in body language and something of that sort.
How would you describe Hridayam? The trailer or teaser or whatever has been released has pretty much told us it's a story of a man who is with one woman but has an ex kind of thing that he keeps thinking about. But what zone is it in? Since we're talking about zones.
From the teaser, I think we have tried to communicate Hridayam as a relationship drama. It's not actually, I think it's not actually just that. I think it's a coming of age drama. It comes more into that zone. It's about Arun Neelakandan, 17 years of his age to 28-30 and the family man sorted feel varaikum avaru pora and journey
that journey is
personal life, professional life, ups and downs, all those things. Nariya padam indha mari vandirukku. So for the longest time I was thinking, should I make this kind of film? Yena Autograph, Premam, Kirik Party, Arjun Reddy, you name it, there are so many films, Varnamayram. So I was thinking there are these phenomenal films in the same zone, so should I do this? அப்புறம் யோசிச்சேன், இந்த மாதிரி எல்லாரும் யோசிச்சிருந்தா இந்த படம்லாம் வந்திருக்காது. If Alphonse had thought that Autograph is already made and Varnamayram is already made, then he wouldn't have made Premam. So I was thinking.
And plus, none of those were made with the Vineeth Sreenivasan stamp on it, right? Because you have a unique voice and you have a very unique set of talents. You're an actor, you do this, you sing, you write, there are all these things coming into you. So when you write a screenplay, it's coming through you. So it will be interesting to see, like I say, there's only 7 stories in the world or whatever. So it'll be interesting to see how the story is filtered through Vineeth Sreenivasan's consciousness. That's what one hopes when when this thing happens.
I hope so. And adu mattum illa sir, the kind of Chennai that I have seen, for the first 15 years of my life I was in Kerala, I was in Talasheri. And after that I came to Chennai, and the Chennai that I have seen, I have not seen that in many Malayalam films. Varane Avishyamundu showed Chennai in a beautiful way.
Yeah.
I felt, but very few Malayalam films have depicted that essence of Chennai into their films in the last 2 decades or 3 decades. Adukku munnadi vandirukku. So I thought, na modalla vanda time la I stayed in Coimbatore, then I shifted to Anna Nagar. There are these housing colonies and these water cans, and there are so many images that I have seen.
Right.
So I feel that Hridayam travels through all these things that I have seen, and like you said, every filmmaker can make that one film out of his personal experiences, right? So I think this is that film of mine.
Now you said Dil Chahta Hai is your all-time favorite film.
Yeah. No, not all time. It was it took me into that direction where I wanted to become a director.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can't say all-time favorite film, but that film, I still remember how I felt when I watched that film. When I went inside the theater, that beginning titles will come, right? So there is that electronic music blended with flute.
Yeah.
So I found it very fascinating. Before that there was this instant karma, and we don't know the people who are making this music, but you hear the songs, this pop culture songs, but you have never heard that in cinema. I never thought that it would work with cinema, Indian cinema. But then you see Dil Chahta Hai, right from the beginning till the end, the kind of music that they have used and the kind of clothes that they wear, it was like the people whom you see, they were not dressing up like heroes. They were dressing up like regular people.
Right.
And it was sing sound. And the time la sing sound ni enakku theriyadu, but it felt very natural while Akshay Khanna was speaking to Dimple Kapadia, that scene.
Yeah.
And they were hardly mouthing their dialogues, and you can feel all the emotions. And now I understand what they dubbing பண்ணும்போது என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, அந்த டைம்ல எல்லாம் ஷார்ப்பாக வச்சுருவாங்க. ஸோ அதிலிருந்து சிங் சவுண்டுக்கு வரும்போது there is a huge difference. இப்போ டெக்னிக்கலாக புரியுது, அந்த டைமில் டெக்னிக்கலாக புரியல, ஆனால் இது எல்லாமே புதுசாக இருந்துச்சு எனக்கு. And the way it was written, the kind of humor, it was in that friends zone. அந்த ஃப்ரெண்ட்ஸ் டிவி சீரீஸில் எல்லாம் அவங்க வெளிநாட்டில் எழுதுகிற ஸ்டைல் ஆஃப் ஹியூமர் வந்து அதில் இருந்துச்சு. அதெல்லாம் இட் வாஸ் நியூ டு இந்தியன் சினிமா. ஸோ டோட்டலாக வந்து எனக்கு ஒரு புது படம் பார்த்த மாதிரி இருந்துச்சு. ஸோ ஆஃப்டர் வாட்சிங் த ஃபில்ம் ஐ கேம் அவுட், ஐ வாண்டட் டு நோ ஹூ டிட் திஸ். And there was a standee outside Studio 5 and it was written and directed by Farhan Akhtar. இதான் பண்ணோம் அப்படின்னு இருந்துச்சு எனக்கு.
That was like pretty much said,
yeah,
this is the kind of film I want to make.
Before that there was a lot of influence from my father. வீட்டில் வந்து எப்போவுமே சினிமாவை பற்றி பேச்சிருக்கோம். அவர் வந்து when I was in Talasheri, he'll come back after the shoot and he'll be speaking to his friends. எல்லாரும் உட்கார்ந்து ரம்மி விளையாடுவாங்க. அந்த டைமில் he'll talk about the films that he is planning to do. சிந்தா விஷ்டயா ஷியாமலா அந்த படத்துக்கெல்லாம் ஷூட் நடக்கிறதுக்கு ஒரு 2 years முன்னாடி I've heard the story and I was thinking இது நல்லா இருக்கே, my father should do it, and finally the film came 2 years later and it did really well. So ஒரு இன்ஃப்ளூயன்ஸ் இருந்துச்சு. ஆனால்
the shape.
Yeah.
Now Hridayam, there's some news that you've drawn a lot of your life and put it out in this film. Is that what the film is? It's like your Varnamayaram.
I can't say that. It's not autobiographical, but the campus life that we had, அந்த டைமில் நடந்த நிறைய விஷயங்கள், certain things have happened in my friend's life. நாங்கள் கேட்ட ஒரு சில விஷயங்கள், and you keep running into your friends after you finish your campus, right? So when you meet them, you discuss about what happened back then. They have a different take about it and you would have thought about it in a different way. So அது எல்லாமே இதுக்குள்ளே வந்த மாதிரி எனக்கு தோணுது. அண்ட் இது வந்து நான் உட்கார்ந்து யோசித்து எழுதின படம் கிடையாது. I was in fact pushing this film away because a lot of films have been made in this zone. No?
And
So
you just said
yeah. So I didn't want to do this film. வேண்டாம் இதெல்லாம் எல்லாரும் பண்ணிட்டாங்க, இது வேண்டாம், I'll do something new. But this idea kept crawling back to me and there was a push from inside to materialize this film. So எழுத ஆரம்பிக்கும்போது கூட இது எப்படி ஷேப் ஆகும்னு எனக்கு தெரியல. இன்ஃபேக்ட் கேரக்டர்ஸோட ட்ரெய்ட்ஸ் ஃபுல்லாக தெரிஞ்சு கூட நான் இதை எழுத ஆரம்பிக்கல. I discovered everything as in when I was writing, and it was like, it was beautiful. Writing this film was very beautiful. I still cherish everything that I felt while I was writing the film.
How long did it take you to write the screenplay?
11 days, I think. அதுக்கு முன்னாடி ஒரு 3 weeks I was working on the scene order. ஒரு 2 படத்துக்கு மெட்டீரியல் இருந்துச்சு எனக்கு. So
the scene order plus the screenplay took about maybe a month?
Yeah.
That's really quick. Because it probably came from inside, I don't know.
Jacob and Swargarajam was also like that. Tatathan Marayathu took a long time. Jacob and Swargarajam, I think 12-13 days. Adum indha mari thaan. You don't think about anything else. You think about those characters and you write and they'll start speaking to you. அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும். நிறைய டைம் வந்து நம்ம எழுதுற மாதிரி இருக்காது. அவங்க பேசுறது நம்ம எடிட் பண்ற மாதிரி இருக்கும்.
Do you shape your characters before you begin your scene order? As in, say, so here there's Pranav, there's Darshana, there's Kalyani. Now they just have a name at that point, right?
Yeah.
Now, do you say at that point, that is before the scene order, do you say, okay, I want this guy or I want this girl to be this, I want her to be an angry person, I want her to be something like that? I mean, do you give little maybe traits to them, or do you just like you know the overall arc of the story?
Yeah.
So then you take, as you put the characters into that overall arc, they take you through their journey. Is that what happens?
Hridayam happened mostly like this. Vadakan Selfie and all, I had solid plan of what has to be written. But Hridayam, there was this arc and அப்பப்போ சர்ப்ரைசிங்காக இருக்கும். ஏன் இப்படி பேசுகிறா அப்படி இருக்கும். எனக்கு எழுதுகிற டைமில் தான் எனக்கு தெரியும் இவங்க என்ன பேச போகிறாங்கன்னு. அது கேட்டு எழுதுகிற மாதிரி இருக்கும். I don't know if anybody can relate to that.
Yeah. Basically the characters are, you're becoming the characters. So that's kind of, they'll take you on that journey. So.
Yeah. Hridayam actually அப்படியே இருந்துச்சு நிறைய இடத்துல. There is one particular scene of Darshana and Ashwath. அது எழுதுறதுக்கு முன்னாடி there is a scene between Ashwath Lal. He has done some 2-3 films. So Ashwath Lal and Darshana, and before writing the scene, I had an idea what will happen, but as and when I'm visualizing the scene and I'm writing it, I'm seeing what is happening.
Right.
So எழுதிட்டே நான் பார்க்குறேன். I'm yeah, okay, so
Yeah, meaning you're visualizing this.
yeah, I'm visualizing it and I'm writing what I'm seeing. So it was like that, and they'll, I don't know what they are going to speak, and then Darshana will turn and she'll say something to him, and that's when she knew, that's when I knew how hurt she is about what has happened.
Right.
So it was more like that, discovering what the character is feeling after it's written.
Right.
It was not the same for every film that I've written.
Right.
So Hridayam was more like that. Tathathan Marayatha, there were a few instances where I have felt it, but Hridayam I had a lot of places where I've followed the characters and the characters speak, and then I've tried to.
Right. So you write the screenplay and you bring in your three primary characters into this zone and you want to make them perform. How do they do it? It's like, because every actor has a different way of preparing. Some people prepare, some people they like to call themselves spontaneous.
Yeah.
Some people like, they get into a method or whatever it is. How were these three, getting ready for the role?
They are entirely different people with different personality. When I'm working with Darshana, I don't let her rehearse. I let her be in the moment. I don't even brief the scene sometimes. When she comes to perform, she'll ask me about the scene. Then I tell her, you have read the scene. I know you know the scene. We'll sit and listen to a song. This song is running in my head. Listen to it, Darshana. And in the jig, there is this song in Jigardanda, Desayum Ezhande.
Yeah.
So for one particular scene, I played that track, and Darshana and I sat down and we listened to the song, and I asked her, you know which zone I am in? Yes. Okay, now we'll go for the take.
Lovely.
Yeah. With Darshana it was more that. With Kalyani, she wanted voice notes of every scene.
Okay.
Yeah, she wanted to know how I would deliver.
Oh,
Yeah. So a lot of scenes she would ask me, Vineeth Chetta, how you would deliver the scene, you send me voice notes. So I'll send her the voice notes, and then she'll listen to the voice notes, and when she comes on set, she'll tweak it according to her ideas. So
Right.
it was more preparation and then coming and performing for Kalyani.
Yeah.
For Appu, Pranav, it was both. Sometimes I don't tell him anything. Sometimes I keep talking about the scene to him. Sometimes we sit and listen to the songs. So everything.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like when, let's say, the three of them are in a scene together.
Yeah.
How would you handle that? It's like, just brief them individually and then hope the magic happens.
Mostly, yes. I brief them individually and then let them do their thing. Yeah. All the actors are different that way.
Yeah.
If we get to understand them, they'll create magic.
Again, I'm coming back to this word feel good, and I have a couple of questions about it. Has the pandemic made Vineeth Sreenivasan a little less feel good about things? Have there been little,
Yeah.
or have you made a conscious effort to be more feel good? So because of what's around us.
Because I wrote the film before, it was not a problem. If I had to write this film in the middle of this pandemic, I don't think I would have been able to write it like this. When I wrote it, I was in a beautiful frame of mind.
Nice.
So, but we shot this film through the pandemic, and every time there was a schedule, we were all looking forward to it. Not because we had to finish the shoot, because that atmosphere of making this film, all these actors and technicians, we all got really close to each other. Everybody will say this like a family, but it's 2 years and one film.
Yeah.
And it's multiple schedules between lockdowns and pandemic. So, you all get very close to each other. You all know your problems,
Right.
and you all went out to each other. So it was like that. So I was really looking forward to every schedule of working for this film. Not just me, the technicians, art director, cinematographer. When there is a change of schedule, everybody will call me and ask, no, let's shoot this. Why are we delaying this? It was more like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So you were able to maintain the mood that you wrote the film in during the shooting as well.
Yeah. I think the film evolved much. I can't say this because I have made the film and it would.
It's okay. It's okay to both.
I'm just talking
you're
about.
a talented person. It's perfectly okay to both. So.
No, I'm just talking about what I felt. I think the actors who came on board, they have taken it to a much better shape than how it was written.
You know, filmmaking is a lot of things going wrong. This machine's not available. Generator, something happens. Rain machine not available. There's a lot of stress on the sets. Apart from what you want to do. And of course you have people to take care of certain things, but then you are, as a director, you're pretty much the focal point of all the stuff that happens. How do you handle that while you're also these logistical things, while your main concern is the emotion and what you want the film to be like, kind of thing? How do you handle that kind of stress?
So Malayalam cinema happens in this situation.
It's
the same story for all the directors. We are wired this way.
it's almost in your DNA.
Nothing is given to us on a platter. We have a budget and we have to make it in between a lot of constraints.
Right.
So we have to ask our friends for their houses. We have to ask them for their clothes. We do all these kind of stuff. So it's fine.
It's nice. You just
as long as it looks good on screen, everything is fine. And somehow it will happen.
It's been happening quite a lot, because I think the OTT, when the pandemic started and OTT started opening up, I think suddenly the whole, at least the cinephiles in India started waking up to the whatever Malayalam cinema was coming up with. And
biggest challenge was to get the locations. So during the after the first lockdown, a lot of locations that we had shot, we were planning to shoot, we were not able to get them. Then we had to literally beg our friends to give their apartments and, use their friend circle to get things done. And we needed a lot of crowd who are, on different levels in the social ladder. So that kind of crowd has to come. So it's all friends, WhatsApp groups.
So your continuity person must have gone mad.
Yes.
Trying to kind of match everything. And
costumes is a big headache because most of the people come with their own costume. Then we have to, politely ask them to keep their costumes back and give them something else. It's fun. It's fun making Malayalam films.
Does that also mean that you've thought about making films in other languages?
I've always wanted to make a Tamil film, but I'm in no hurry. I really want to figure out the kind of cinema that I want to do in Tamil. So I want to take time and do it. Okay.
Why just one film?
No, at least one film.
At least one. Okay. You do so many things, Vineeth. You're multi-talented. Does that come from basically being are you a very confident person?
I'm not.
You're not?
I'm not.
Okay. Because you do like all these things. You're writing Pallavis in the middle of your screenplay, which is a lyricist's job.
No. So, what I meant is, what happens in that Pallavi?
No, whatever it is, it's still you're able to imagine that. So, and you're saying you're not a confident person.
Yeah. The thing is, I love to do all these things. I want to try different things in my life, be it singing or writing or
acting.
Yeah. Acting is more because I love to work with a lot. It gives me a chance to work with a lot of directors, right. And they all have different ways of handling a set and conceiving a scene. So it's like doing one film and assisting a lot of other directors, and then directing another film.
Right.
So it's a lot of learning process that happens in between my films. So I love to do that.
So it comes more from then not from confidence but from curiosity.
Curiosity. Yeah.
You just want to try these.
Yeah.
So Hridayam was the first film, and you knew this question is coming, where you're not working with Shan Rahman. Hesham Abdul Wahab is the music director, and I've actually heard a couple of his songs in Mathuram, and he's very good. But still, did it feel like divorcing your first wife and then trying to get along with the new a person? Did you have that slight adjustment factor?
Before I started, actually Shan and Jomon T. John. So Jomon from Tatatin Maraitho, he has done all my films. And Shan from the very beginning itself.
Yeah.
So before starting, I was thinking how it's going to pan out. But then I started my sessions with Hisham and we clicked very fast. And yeah, but for the next film again, I'm going back to Shan.
Right, but what made you say, I want to work with a new music director for this film? I mean, it's with, of course, you have the right to do it, but I'm saying what particular process in your mind said, okay, for this film, I want to try something else, you know?
For the longest time, in the past 5-6 years, I've worked with Hisham as a singer.
Okay.
He has composed and I have sung for him. And every time I meet him, I feel a little guilty inside. I'll tell you the reason. While I was writing Jacob and the Swargarajam, I used to listen to Hisham's album, Kadam Badha. There is an album. It's a beautiful album with amazing songs. So there is this track called Amilyar. So every time I go for a narration, like I'm narrating the script to Nivin. When Nivin comes and sits, I'll play Amilyar first. Because I know Nivin is with so many thoughts in his head. So first, to get his attention into the screenplay, I'll play Amilyar and I'll ask Nivin, close your eyes and listen to this track. So once that track is done, when Nivin opened his eyes, I could see that cleansing of thing is done. Then I'm narrating the screenplay to Nivin. So while doing Jacob and the Swargarajam and while I started the narration of Hridayam also, I do this when I go to actors. First I make them listen to a track and get their focus into the film.
Right.
So I was thinking, I've used his music to write my film, to inspire myself, to inspire the actors whom I've gone to, and he's still struggling. So that was running in my head, sort of kind of a guilt. And then we worked on a song in 2019 or 18, I don't remember. So he had come to record a song with me and he told me, Vineeth, I know you won't work with anybody other than Shan Jerden, and I know I can't do your film, but is there any film that you are part of which I can do music for? And I felt very bad that day and I couldn't sleep that night. And then I spoke to my wife, then I spoke to my friends, and after that I thought I should do a film with Hisham, and then I went and spoke to Shan. So that's how it happened.
Right. And what did Shan say?
Initially Shan didn't expect that from me, right? So it was like a shock for him.
Right.
But after 10 minutes he was okay with it. He told me, I know why you're doing this, so you go ahead, I'm with you.
Right.
So
right.
the moment I said it, it was like a shock for him. And that night I couldn't sleep again. I went to that, there is this church in Kalur. Everybody goes to. I went and sat there for a while. I was thinking, did I betray my friend? So it was too much for me to handle then.
Right.
It's like divorcing.
Yeah. And there are 15 songs, like you said.
Yeah.
Do these songs, obviously they are not in entirety, right? As in, like, they're not fully like the traditional songs, right? Because then they would take about 75 minutes of your screen time.
Yeah.
They do?
No.
Right.
Some of the songs are just Pallavi, bridge and Pallavi.
Okay.
Some of the songs are like Pallavi, Charanam, Pallavi. There are no songs with 2 Charanam.
Oh, no songs.
No
Okay.
songs with 2 Charanam.
Okay.
1 Charanam and...
So there are no traditionally structured songs with the Pallavi, first BGM, like Charanam 1, second BGM, Charanam 2. There's nothing like that.
But there are songs that extends to 4 to 5 minutes, a little more than that also. But then there are songs which falls under that 2 minutes, 3 minutes window.
Right. And if you were to describe the broad genre of music, what would it be?
We have tried to touch different genre of music actually.
Okay.
Actually thinking about Hridayam, it was working for 2 films. One is for the soundtrack, one is for the actual film. It was like handling 2 projects at the same time.
Yeah. That must have also been interesting because you already have so much music in your film.
Yeah.
So your soundtrack has to sound a little different.
Yeah.
And not just like an extension of the music in the film. So,
Again, I think I read it in Conversations with Maniratnam, your book only, sir. Mani sir was talking about, how they used to work on every album. There should be this kind of a song, then there should be a completely different kind of song. So that was kind of an inspiration. We wanted different genre in the film so that every kind of music listener will have something to take from our album. So it was made with that frame of mind. Yeah.
Okay. So just like you chose your actors for very specific things, why did you choose Prithviraj to sing one particular song?
We had a few choices before we went to Raju. First we thought of Adnan Sami, but then Adnan Sami's Malayalam is not great. He has sung one song in the 90s. Tone is great. His voice tone is superb, but his
I call it the Udit Narayan phenomenon because it's like I love his voice. He's got a great like a bass kind of flavor, but his pronunciation is all over the place. So the song kind of gets.
Can't blame him. No, he's not from here.
He's not from here. No, that's what I'm saying. But that's the general. That's how I describe it.
He has got this lazy, laid-back quality to his voice. So we wanted somebody like that for that particular song. Tadagadidare. That song is releasing tomorrow.
Okay.
So then we thought of Jassy Gift. Then one day I called up Hisham and I told him, how about Prithviraj? He has never sung for anybody other than himself.
Right.
So it'll be interesting to get his voice there, and he has this certain kind of attitude to his voice. There is a push while he is accenting every word. So I felt that it will be nice to have that push.
So these are songs that will play mostly in the background?
No, this song is there fully.
Like people mouthing the words?
There are 2 lip sync songs in the film.
Okay.
Others are all
kind of
music montage. Sort of. Certain songs are choreographed. So it's everything.
It's a mix of everything.
Yeah.
I've always loved this line from Tattathin Marit at the end when the narrator goes back, they're on that pier and she comes running to him and Nivin gets up and he sees her and then he kisses her and then the narrator says, okay, so this is the, even if we forget our desires, the Lord remembers them and fulfills them for us. Something like that is that line. Was that line written just for the film or is that your personal philosophy?
No, I've felt it. I've experienced it so many times.
Okay.
Actually. Okay, I'll tell you one example. When I came to Chennai, I used to eat a lot in mainland China with my father. And I used to think, will I be able to afford this place myself? And very soon, I got to a position where I could go and eat in a place like that. I mean, I was in school, then I went to college, I started singing. And I could afford mainland China. So this is just a small example. Yeah. And you have a crush on somebody when you are in school, and you would see that same person years later while you are performing on stage, listening to you, and you would have thought that she should listen to me, and she wouldn't have. But then she's sitting in the crowd. So many things like this have happened.
Right. Would you say you're somewhat like Rahman, because with Rahman he always says. It's just that he opens up his mind and songs come to him like a divine gift. Would you say that's your process?
Not for every film, sir. I mean, when I was writing Vadakkan Selfie, we sat together, we discussed the screenplay, we discussed the ideas and what works, what is not working. So all those things we have discussed, and after that, I start writing the film. For Hridayam, I have not discussed anything with anybody. It was there in my head, and then it was there in my voice notes, and I had voice notes for 1.5 years. I was recording as and when I was thinking, as and when ideas were coming into my head. When I was speaking to my friends and when they were telling the incidents, I would just switch on my voice memo and I'll keep it. And before writing the film, I sat down and heard all these voice notes.
Yeah, so then it didn't take just a month. There was so much preparation that happened.
Yeah.
So it's not just 3 weeks of whatever and 1 week of writing.
It's writing in the head has
Yeah.
started way before that.
Yeah. I was like very surprised because it seems like a layered film, and you know, if you just wrote it in a month, that was like, wow, that's incredible. You know, that you did that. But thank you for sharing all that you did, Vineeth, because we're really looking forward to this film. I think the title itself is a very lovely title, because a friend of mine once said, he liked the title of Premam. Because this is actually my colleague Vishal Menon. He said he loved the title because usually people say pranayam, or you know, like there's a
There is that
it's like
sophisticated,
complicated or a slightly sophisticated word, anuragam, something, I don't know, it is kind of a thing. But here it is like, it's very simple, Premam. That's like, you know, Hridayam. It's so something very lovely about the way the word just comes out. You know, it's the most elementary kind of word, and that's what that film is. You know, when you look at that film, you don't want to call it pranayam. You know, it's Premam. That it just stands so beautifully for that film. And you know, I hope this film is lovely too, and all best wishes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Hi, this is Vineeth Sreenivasan. If you like this video, do subscribe to Film Companion South.